Let's talk about the crazy eye syndrome. I'm serious. Let's talk about crazy eyes. Let's talk about a much more worrisome aspect of Apple Computer. So yesterday, Apple puts up this video that I guess they showed during the keynote of people like Ives and that iPhone product manager guy talking about the iPad. And something that you really notice in this video is that when Ives and Schiller and the other iPhone guy, when they're talking about this stuff, they got the wide, crazy eyes that cult followers have. It creeps me out. What the hell is wrong with these people? Are they all just basically on caffeine IVs? Is it that they're all like downing ayahuasca to get the visions for how to make this stuff? There is this crazy look in the eyes, man. Go watch the video. Tell me if I'm overreacting to this. You watch these guys talking, and it's really creepy. It's scary. And
the Stepford developers.
No, they're not robotic. They're basically just they look like they're brainwashed. They have, I'm telling you, go watch. I'm guessing you haven't watched the video.
I haven't, but you know what?
Right.
Apple is picking and choosing what they put in the videos.
So why would you pick and choose stuff that makes your employees look like they're, psychotic or insane?
Well, maybe you have to be psychotic or insane to work there. I don't want to insult all the people in our audience who work for Apple.
I mean,
but you have to have a certain mindset to basically work in lockstep to do something with the dedication they require. I mean, a lot of people work overtime, lots of overtime to do it, so maybe that's it. Or maybe Apple, in their way of choosing people to appear in these videos, is maybe doing too much coaching. Is it the eyes that tell the tale about the attitude of these people that Apple interviews?
Well, I think it's something that people should notice, and I think it dovetails on, I think at one point they used the word miraculous in describing this thing. I think there was a slide that I saw from the keynote where the word miraculous was up there, and then I think the very end slide of his presentation yesterday, there was this thing, this photograph, this one image of these two road signs, technology and liberal arts. And I thought that was really kind of bizarre. I guess basically they are drinking their own Kool-Aid, Gene, and they don't think they can do any wrong. And when a company gets like that, that is a very, very vulnerable point for any company, when they basically start to believe their own PR. Now, one could argue that this has been the case at Apple for a long time, but like I said, in looking at some of the terminology thrown around the other day, when you see the word miraculous show up, that's just like way over the top. Way over the top, and I think so over the top as to be unnecessary and to really be the point where it starts to work against them. There's nothing miraculous about this thing. Nothing at all. I mean, one could argue that the price point's miraculous. Of course, $4.99 is what the average Southeast Asian worker earns in, a month? Maybe If that.
Maybe 6 months.
Anyway, I just look at all this and I think, all right, so this is an interesting opening salvo in what's to be the next generation of devices. It looks like a very nice media player. It's ultimately not something I think I would buy.
Well, when I saw Steve Jobs trying to type on a full-size touch keypad, I said, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not sure I'm ready for this yet. And I have to look at the question you asked, which is, what do I do with it? Most everything you can do with that product, you can do on an iPhone or an iPod Touch, except for the larger screen. So
well, presumably there will be some software stuff that will come out during this year where you'll look at the iPad and you'll look at some of this new software stuff that's designed to take advantage of it. And you'll say, wow, that's really very, very cool. And the other thing that we need to point out here, Gene, is that these price points are the initial price points. I mean, you remember what happened with the original iPhone price points, how they came down so radically, so relatively quickly. I don't know that we'll see a similar situation play out with this, but I'd have to guess that by the end of this year, come next Christmas time, a $4.99 iPad now will be what, $2.99? And at that point, well, then that's a pretty compelling buy, I think, ultimately. Of course, what will iPods cost at that point? What will an iPhone cost at that point? The fact that you can get this thing with a data plan where you pay month by month, that's actually pretty compelling, right? Technological development would break away from some of these petty issues. But I guess it's not possible. You've got companies that are run by people. You've got product designers who are either drinking way too much caffeine or doing some kind of weird psychoactive chemistry that makes their eyes get real wide and makes them look like they're basically, it's not them speaking. You got to go look at this video that Apple put up around this thing. I'm serious. It is just so profoundly creepy. And truth be told, Gene, a couple of years ago, I interviewed for a position with Apple where I was made to watch one of these videos with a bunch of other wide-eyed, brainwashed, hypnotized-looking people. And I don't know, man. It looks like I suppose I should go do this and get in trouble with everybody. But if you probably took some of these Apple videos with their people talking, and you took a Scientology video and intercut it, you'd probably find a lot of similarities in the way that people sound and look. Remember that crazy Tom Cruise video that was never supposed to get out into the public, where he's talking about how, Scientologists, if I'm the first on a crash scene, I know I'm the only one that can help.
Is that like Steve Ballmer saying, developers, developers, developers?
No, because Ballmer doesn't believe that stuff, because you know that Ballmer doesn't believe any of the crap he's spewing. He doesn't actually believe it. He's playing a role, you see. The Apple people seem to believe it. There's a huge difference. And I'm no fan of Ballmer. You know that I think Ballmer is just a psychotic loon. All right? So I'm not trying to say that he's got it together, but in the end, I think he doesn't believe this stuff. He doesn't. Look, of course, you give me the billions he has, and I'll believe in a lot of weird stuff.
Or pretend to get those billions. By the way, we're trying to look for billions of dollars. In fact, we had a plan we had a few years ago, David, you and I, to take over Yahoo and save the company for a few billion?